of course, the sills look like they need new sills. You know, how do you get an old sill off? How do you put a new one on? You can't just, you know, pull it off, plonk on. There's welding to be done. There's cutting back. There's all sorts of stuff going on that I know nothing about. So I've been watching slow progress the last kind of 3 or 4 weeks, but I have been working away in the background, checking YouTube, learning on restoration, you know, cutting away rusty metal and replacing with good metal. So yeah, watch this space. Right, bonnet catch removal from old bonnet. Already done it, sorry, but there we go. It came off real easy. The screw heads were rounded on that, so I had to use a kind of a plumber's wrench type thing, which I'll show you in a minute. Over here, this thing here, got them off, no probs. Screws, see, the head isn't too bad, but the screwdriver was having trouble. And then I had a rummage and I found similar screws, slightly shallower length on the thread, but I don't think it's a problem because even with these washers on, there's still plenty of thread left. So I might do that, or otherwise we'll have to go and look elsewhere for a like-for-like screw. Anyway, to wash these up now, and I've heard of somebody back in the day that this stuff does the job. I know it gets bike chains really clean overnight, soaking, so I'm going to give that a whirl. If it doesn't work, again we'll use some kind of commercial product, but I don't know how much it'll get off. I mean, that looks like it's going to need some wire wool and all sorts, but let's soak it first and see what we're left with. There we are. Slow progress, but we're getting at least a couple of jobs done today. We're going to need some more Coke. That's a cocktail sized can. Trip to the shop coming up then. So rather than chuck the bonnet away, the old bonnet, there it is, look. I thought I'd keep it in order to kind of possibly do some metal work as practice. I mean, it doesn't matter if I get it wrong, because this bonnet was consigned to the dump, but looking at what these things fetch online, second hand, it might be worth me just seeing what I can do with it. If I can make a decent job, then we've got a spare bonnet, we can sell it. But look at the state of it. I mean, it's going to need some serious work. That is some serious rust. Wherever I leave it, like in the garden, it just leaves a huge pile of rust underneath. So inside there, it's all just deteriorating and leaving. And it's a shame because it's the lip, you know, it's you know, one of the most visible parts of the car, isn't it? So a repair job needs to be bang on in this area. You know, it's got to have to come down, and that's a serious, for a complete novice like me, it's going to be a really difficult job. But I fancy doing this first before I work on the car because I need the practice. Let's have a look at the other side. Just as bad, if not worse. I'll turn it over. This is my little workshop, by the way. It's not really a workshop, more of a man shed, bikes. My little work station, which is more geared towards bicycle and DIY landscape stuff. Drum roll. Look at that. Oh, if only you knew how much pleasure I'm taking in doing this. Ooh. I haven't got the safety bolt, so I have to grind the safety nut off. Nightmare. No. coming. Excuse the swearing, but this has been an absolute bugger to get off. I've tried all sorts, including the end of that to act as an impromptu extension. Various socket heads hammered on, and in the end use a Dremel to start a little indentation there, followed up by a chisel, and I've got some movement. I've actually got some movement. I thought I was going to have to grind the whole stud off, but we may have success. I think I'm going to take the fuel tank out and spruce up all this stuff, replace what's gone too rusty. The pipes all look like they've been maintained up until 2002. That's when I got the MOT still. Fuel tank there, that looks all pretty kosher. Under there, as you can see, surface rust. It just needs, I think, there's no bad corrosion, it just needs repainting really. Under seal and all that caper. You know, look at this stuff. Under seal just coming off. How not to get your back wheel off. It's taken about half a day's work in the end, and I think I've ruined the stud. But yeah, used all sorts. Look at that. Ground it down without making a straight edge. To get an adjustable spanner on, I just took the grinder to it. Gung ho, paid the consequences. Damage on the wheel ain't as bad as I thought though. If you use this one as the spare, that'll be okay. Most of that come out with the paint, repaint. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to replace that stud. Look at it, destroyed. That was an absolute brute to get out in the end. We had to use a chisel and a hammer in the end for the last little dregs around the entrance here. There's just a little bit of metal left on the thread which I couldn't get to without a drill. The drill wasn't doing much, so in the end I got a chisel to it and spun it round on that. Colour's going to be as is, the bronze kind of Life on Mars colour, which is what the car has. Suede roof. Looked at a company, I found a decent company through other Cortinas that are for sale. I've asked the owners about where they got their roofs done, and there's a company in Wolverhampton.
Oh